Haters didn't think we'd make it.
No, it only took us 5 years and 42 episodes.
They cut the hard line. There's no time. You're going to have to get to another exit.
See, he's got a keys around here.
No time for love, Dr. Jones.
No time for podcast.
No, I can't be bothered with that. I have no time for that sort of nonsense.
No time for top 10s.
Welcome back, 2025, not a real year.
Not yet, anyway.
But, somewhere in the future. This is episode 42 of No Time for a Podcast. Proper intro, that's what we're doing this year.
Haters didn't think we'd make it.
No, it only took us 5 years and 42 episodes. And we had no transition from there, so there you go. Did I do any of these things that are on my checklist? Let's see. No, didn't do that. No. All right, sounds good. So we are gathered here today for... Let's introduce this. Me? My turn?
Yeah.
So it was we decided it was in 2022. We did the first award show for TV and movies. And most people do an annual award show, but
That's not how we roll.
that's not how we roll. Sometimes we take entire years off.
And just to be pertinent, it was very early in 2022 because,
Yeah, it was January of 2022.
yeah.
We may have even recorded in December and I released it in January, knowing my lag back then.
I actually think that's accurate.
What's that?
I said I actually think that's accurate. The recording.
Yeah, it's probably pretty accurate. And then I think we did all-time awards, like Hall of Fame awards in February of that year, got released. So I think we did that all in like one day, 4 total episodes, different parts and whatnot. So we were back at it. We were back here doing our top 5 list the last couple years.
2022 to 2024.
And we're going to try to do it in draft style. So like fantasy football, snake draft, and someone will get the first pick. We probably should have decided how to do that, but we did not do it on air or off air. Rock, paper, scissors?
We can do it by age.
By age, so I'll go last. That sounds good to me.
You go first. I was thinking you go first.
No. Youngest always goes first in board games.
I'll take it.
Yeah, Pete started up.
All right, so
I'm gonna self-impose probably. I say probably because I want flexibility if a ton of stuff goes. That I'm picking stuff that just at least started in the last couple of years since we last met.
2022 to 2024.
yep.
And
That makes sense.
with
Round 1.
with that assumption, my first pick is going to be Slow Horses because I love that show and I find it extremely enjoyable.
Is that on Apple TV?
It's on Apple TV. Yeah. It's kind of a British spy show. How would you describe it, Peter?
British spy show.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
With?
not gonna get much more creative than that. No, it's basically MI5 rejects that led by Gary Oldman that keep getting dragged into crap and saving the day. But Gary Oldman's phenomenal. It's just I don't know. I've been watching probably more, not religiously everything, but a lot, putting more time and effort the last couple of years into watching British TV because frankly a lot of them being so short, they're just well written.
Yeah. So like it's 6 episodes in a season. There's 3 seasons out so far, right? Right about there?
Yeah, I think season 4 is. I mean, they had an advertisement for season 4 as part of the last episode of season 3. Like they had screenshot like clips from it already. So yeah, but yeah, that was my pick.
Round 1, pick 1, Slow Horses.
Slow Horses.
All right. Jeremy, who do you got for round 1, pick 2?
So I came across this show. It seems to have really well developed characters. They seem to have a lot of history. The lead, it feels like she's been doing this her whole life, but you really get into it. It's about sex crimes in New York. It's called Law and Order SVU.
Are you just gonna mock the whole?
That's the plan.
Is it real crimes that happen in New York, or is it ripped from the pages?
They're ripped from the pages. According to the show, I just randomly came across it. I don't know. It's created by Dick Clark. No, sorry. Dick Wolf.
Nope, wrong Dick. Frankly, I'm surprised he didn't go with Rizzoli and Isles.
It's on the list.
Maybe, yeah. Oddly enough, SVU not on my list. But again, I took the criteria self-imposed. It had to start in since we last met on this. So
Are there any new episodes of SVU still coming out?
Oh yeah.
Is there really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you look up to see what season they're on for me?
I think it's 22?
Jesus.
20. It might be 20. It might be Law and Order that's like 22 or 23.
Oh, I think you guys are a little bit low. They're in season 26. If they've started this year, yeah. Yep, they're on season 26.
Crazy. And that's on basic cable? Or what's that on?
It's an NBC.
I haven't watched real NBC and I can't even think of how long.
No, unless it's football.
I watched it on Peacock.
Or you can watch
Also
it.
as the cock. I'm glad you got that one out of the way quickly because, we're going to try to snipe that one on you.
I thought of that like 2 days ago, and I've just been waiting for this.
Yeah. Fair. Very fair. Again, I'm glad I don't have to take anything off my list. That was a high risk.
That was a high risk one for sure. All right. Pick 3. I'm going with Shogun. It was on FX. And it's like a Japanese samurai, different factions fighting each other for control of the country. That show. It's like Emperor times. And it's kind of like all the other Game of Thrones kind of shows where there's a bunch of infighting and different things happening. And it's really well done and really well acted. There's a lot of people.
Dude.
A lot of people dying with swords. It's pretty awesome. I like swords. Swords are a good time. They're making a second season, but you're not quite sure like what they're gonna focus on.
Where they go from there.
Yeah. So
It's definitely one
Not
I'll have to rewatch it before season 2 comes out. Like, get a
yeah.
refresh here.
it really
What's
felt
that?
like the British guy was gonna be like the main focus, and then he kind of became secondary after a while.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Shogun. So are we doing Snake? So I get a
No.
second, or you
We're
gonna
not
go?
heathens. We're not heathens. Snake style.
All right. So Pete, what do you got for round 2, pick 2?
Well, snake style means you would go.
Oh, I thought you said we weren't doing that. I misheard you.
Let's be clear. I'm not the boss. I'm not running the damn thing.
I'm not the boss either.
I'm just here for the money.
All the tens of cents. All right, let me look at my hidden list so I can see what I'm picking after.
Round 2.
I think I had Slow Horses as number 4 on my list. So that kind of sucks.
Sounds like you can get your.
Yeah, top 2 or 3. I'm trying to decide if you're gonna. I don't think anybody else is probably. I'm not sure if anybody watched this, but I really like the Bear on Hulu.
Mhm.
It's about like a Chicago diner that tries to go from being like a sandwich shop to like a fine dining establishment. When a guy comes back from New York to take over the family business and stuff, and super intense, super lots of yelling, lots of yes chef.
Lots of layers. Too. Like,
Yeah, lots of
just-
layers. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say it's like a casual watch. Like
No.
you're gonna be your heart rate's gonna go up most of the time when you're watching that show.
It's an intense watch for sure. Like what's the Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah, with the mom coming back and
Jamie Lee
Yeah.
Curtis. Yeah. Oh my god, that was just on edge. Like, just not on like suspenseful. It's just like
yeah, if you've ever had a bad family dinner like over the holidays, you do not want to watch that show. It'll just bring back all the bad memories that
Yeah.
you've ever had.
yeah, it's just a stressful show to watch. But I do like it. I still think it's kind of weird that it's a comedy, classified as a comedy, winning awards as a comedy. But
Yeah.
people smarter than me say it's a comedy. So okay.
And two, it's a not what is it, 10 episodes, but the episode length kind of varies depending on the story they need to tell and stuff like that too. So
Yeah.
that part is nice. Sometimes you get out under 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's a weird thing too. I always find it weird when shows are like that.
Yeah, I also like that's in Chicago, so you get to see some of those landmarks and things like that
Yeah.
versus New York or California. It seems everything else to be based off of. So I will go with the Bear, especially the first 2 seasons. The third season was good, but it was like more of a continuation. I think it's only supposed to go for 4 seasons, so let's hope it goes out with a bang. So
I've now watched the newest season because I was planning to watch it with the wife, and she has not prioritized it. So I was actually just thinking today, I'm like, all right, I'll just start watching that by myself.
how's that going to go for you?
It'll be fine.
Is there anything about that show that you particularly like, other than I like some of the character arcs have been pretty phenomenal, like the cousin and stuff like that.
Yeah, I really liked the last season. It was different, obviously, with the one guy going over the dessert guy going over to
Like Switzerland or whatever.
Denmark.
Denmark, yeah.
Yeah, right. And yeah, and I'm so horrible at character names because I've watched so many
Too many
different shows but
Yeah.
you know, Evan Moss Bach, I think that's the guy's real name. His like the cousin, his arc and his transition and all that, and yeah, I don't know. It's just a very layered, well written.
And there could be like crazy one-off episodes, like where they're catering the family birthday party and they're just drugging the kids and stuff like that. It's just like sometimes just crazy shit happens, and then like it doesn't move the plot along all that much. But it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, really, it's a nice break from the intensity of the random, the most episodes.
Yeah,
and even like Oliver Platt is awesome as like the uncle guy. Like I don't know, I just everybody's really good in it.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of even like the other cooks and stuff are pretty amazing for like the first season and what you thought their character arc might be. Like it's even more pronounced in the third season, which is kind of nice. You kind of follow some of their stuff a little bit more, which is nice. So, all right, Jeremy, round 2, pick 5.
My round 2 pick.
Yep.
It's a statement by Peter Martin that I would have to agree with is that television really isn't the same unless Reba McEntire is involved with it. My choice is going to be Happy's Place.
We literally were making fun of this show last night.
I haven't seen it. I just have to assume it's amazing.
You're
not taking this seriously.
I'm gonna have to take it off my list. I hate it's
we're only doing 5 rounds, right?
Yeah. No, it's only going to get better, guys.
There's nowhere to go after Happy's Place.
It's only going to get better. Just like Happy's Place.
Now, the question that Lager had last night was, does Reba McEntire age? She looks exactly the same.
I wonder if they filmed all of these shows like 30 years ago and they're just now slowly releasing them.
It's all AI.
But you wouldn't know since you haven't actually watched it, right?
I'm not sure. I'm unfamiliar with the content of the actual television program itself. But
what was her first show called?
Reba.
Oh, it was just self-entitled.
It was just self-titled. It was.
That's probably the name of her second show too. Was just Reba. All right. I don't know if we need to delve any more into that one. I'm gonna.
Are there any other shows like Reba that you want to just shout out?
It's not my turn yet.
He's like, I don't want to spoil my next 3 picks. I'm gonna say it's tough. I'm trying to pick one that probably has more than one season.
Sure.
I might say The Diplomat because I really like that one, and I just finished season 2.
I got 2 episodes left.
And that was also a very intense show.
I had forgotten where season 1 left off, and then they did the whole season recap right before the first episode started. I'm like, they really stopped it there? Like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, same thing. I was like, I don't remember how this ended because I just throw on so many different things randomly late at night and just power through them. So sometimes my attention span isn't.
Jeremy, you might recognize The Diplomat from her previous television show, Felicity, Carrie Russell.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with The Diplomat, but I am very familiar with Felicity.
Yeah, so Felicity is open if you want to take that. 3. She no longer has the curly hair, just so you're up to speed. No, I love her husband in that. He was in another show I really liked, and it was like an alternative history show that was on Amazon. The Man in the High Castle.
Man in the High Castle.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It was weird. The ending, but was it?
They're back and forth. The husband and wife is phenomenal in that show.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he's like the husband says something, like Bethany will look at me like it would be something I would say, but whatever. I get a lot of eyes during that show.
You guys actually watch it together?
Yeah, that's the one we watched together. I got 2 episodes left, I think, of this season. So
yeah, the thing I realized is time goes on, I have to watch shows that are less. You don't have to pay as much attention with my wife just because she's usually tired by bedtime and like sometimes we'll drift off. And so I'm not gonna watch. Yeah, and so it gets distracting. So like we watch when we're watching something, we usually pick something that's not as like intense. Although we have been watching The Penguin, but then we're like a month into trying to finish that.
Sure.
So
in our house, like I tend to watch a lot of stuff up front and then tell Bethany like what to watch that she'll like, that I think she'll like, versus she's not going to watch 90% of the
Yeah.
sci-fi stuff, like all the Star Treks, all the Star Wars stuff, or any of that stuff. So it's just like, or Walking Dead, or any of that kind of stuff. So, so, but like things like The Diplomat, I think because it came out around Holly's season last year, I think that's the only reason why I probably started it together. Like, we don't watch a ton together at the same time anymore, but it was a good show. Do enjoy it.
Round 3.
All right. I'm gonna. So I get the first pick in the third round.
Yep, the reach around.
I'm gonna take Winning Time because I like that show a lot. And it started and stopped all in the last 3 years. So
Was it 2 seasons or 1 season?
just 3.
Was it 3?
I think. Yeah. That was 3.
And that's the kind of
Yeah, it was 3.
the Laker.
Yeah.
All
So
the
just
Los Angeles Lakers.
following primarily Magic Johnson. Oh no, it did not have a season 3. I'm sorry, it was 2 seasons. I was thinking there was 3, but now in
I think there
retrospect,
was supposed to be another season, but like it didn't.
yeah, it was such an abrupt cancellation.
Yeah. I think it was one of those that was like pretty expensive to get everybody back. And some of the people playing like the owners and things were pretty expensive.
Yeah, but it was, and I should have known how many seasons there were, but I didn't have a ton of time to like go through and document all that stuff here.
14 days.
But I, as a basketball guy and a fan of 80s basketball and just the lore of it, things were just crazy, man, before the internet and what people and social media, I should probably more accurately say, with athletes. So it's just crazy to get a, quasi accurate description of just some of the stuff these guys did and the backstory of just that team in particular. Was just fun. And the acting I thought was pretty solid. So I know they took some liberties. I certainly know it wasn't like 100% factual, but a lot of the mannerisms, etc., was a lot of that was based off real, just the way those people were or are.
Yeah.
It was a very enjoyable watch.
Did they get more into Magic and Cookie's like relationship in the second season? I think I only made it through the first couple episodes of the second season.
I mean, it's there, but because of the abrupt cancellation, which was pretty obvious that they rushed it.
Yeah.
Watching it, I was like, oh, I guess we're not going to have a season 3 when I saw the last episode. We're talking about the Lakers went on to win. Wow, I'm like, oh, they wouldn't tell that if they're coming back.
Yeah. Who was the Laker coach that really hated his portrayal?
West.
Yeah,
Jerry West, who was an executive at the time, was just portrayed as an absolute ass.
Yeah, he did seem
Totally, probably over exaggerated. But it was, it was fun to see him. It spiced it up a little bit. Like you had to take, they took some liberties, but there's again some stuff, especially when like, yes, this happened. It's like, okay, that's crazy that this is the way
the
this.
portrayal of the owner is pretty crazy, and like how he kind of finagles away getting the team and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I'm sure some of the things are a little bit off, but in general, yes, like this whole thing, this concept happened of him having to find the money to buy the team off and all that. So nope, I liked it. I probably watch it again at some point. I'm not a necessarily big rewatcher outside of a few comedies, but I'd rewatch that again, I think.
Yeah, I don't rewatch a ton of stuff either, but we got that covered with the guy who's in the middle of the draft.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of
Jeremy, round 3.
All right, my round 3 pick will probably surprise you guys. Against a lot of the feedback online, I've seen. I really liked The Acolyte, the Star Wars Lucasfilm show. I don't know. Did you guys watch that?
I did, yeah.
I've not seen it.
I thought it was great. I mean, a lot of people complain about the religion aspect of it being so kind of like dominant in there, but I enjoyed the whole concept of the Jedi is that it is a religion, and I liked that show kind of delved more into that. It just was interesting to me. Plus, there were some fucking sweet Jedi fights with lightsabers. Like there was some cool dark side stuff. There was a lot of cool stuff in this switch over who the Acolyte was. Even though I kind of saw it starting to come, it's not really, it was interesting. Like there was a lot to it, a lot more than I expected. And then the fact that everyone seemed to hate it made me like it more.
Did they hate? Like, was it panned a bit?
Yeah, it was panned because it delved really strong into the religious aspect of the Jedi Order. That it is a religion. That it is these kind of like true faith. They believe in the Force and all of that. The principles like that's what guides them. It's not just even right or wrong. It's what they believe. And I found that interesting because it's just they've never, like I said, it's always been a religion in the movies and in the mythology, but I've never seen it in what I've come across with Star Wars, both comic books and the TV shows and movies, that they really treat it like a true religion. And I thought the show really delved into that, and I thought that was really interesting to me, that they looked at it from that aspect. And everyone else seemed to have everything I read online, everyone seemed to have a big opinion against that it's don't bring this in, and it was just a different take. It was like Andor was, it was a different way to look at the universe that we all grew up with.
Yeah.
And take it or leave it however you feel. I enjoy different aspects, different versions, different looks, different thoughts into it. So I really enjoyed that show. I watched it. I watched it as it came out, and then I watched it again all together. Both views were really enjoyable for different reasons. Just like with other, with any show, or if you watch it all together, you get a different take on it.
Yeah, I thought the witches and the coven part at the beginning was very interesting. That I hadn't seen much. I haven't read a ton of Star Wars books or anything like that, but delved into some of the other stuff. So that part was interesting to me. I think the ultimate bad guy, consider him a bad guy or whatever, he could have definitely been in other series or other things. Like, he was that interesting of a character to me, but now it just seems like they're wiping their hands of that whole series for whatever reason.
Yeah, well, and they left. The ending ended with obviously open for a sequel, at least one more season. That would have been really interesting. And I love I can't think of her name, but the lady that was the Jedi lady that came or whatever. Like, I liked her, like how pig-headed and how just she believed one thing. She believed the Jedi Order and what it brought, and that was the only interpretation she could see of things. And that was interesting to me, because that's how religion is to me. Like when I see people who are that much of zealots in their own beliefs, it was really interesting to me to see someone who's not swayed by other people's opinions or thoughts. Like, she knew what she thought was right, and that's what she went with, even if it wasn't. And that was really, to me, it was very interesting.
Yeah, I think the only other thing that I saw online that they can't seem to make the Jedi people interesting. It's always some other character. That's the interesting part of the show. It's like you have these magic space wizards, and you can make none of them the interesting part of the. It's like we're just all for good, and we always do the right thing, and it's like they somehow can't seem to make those characters interesting. But.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I thought it was great. It's well worth checking out. It's a good watch.
Okay. Noted. I think I had it on my to watch list, but I hadn't heard about it. There's a couple things on there, so I'm not sure how to prioritize it accordingly.
And I'm not gonna probably pick it. But I've been watching the Skeleton Crew, and it's a little bit more like Goonies in space.
Yeah,
it's very kid focused.
That's a.
Well, Acolyte is like a teenager that figuring out the Force, some of it, and but this is very Goonies like, and. They get trapped on a spaceship and they got to find their way back home. Blah blah blah. So as you can see the trick.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I haven't watched any Skeleton Crew yet, but it's on my list to watch for sure. And I've heard that too. But I'm interested in seeing. I'm interested in what it has to offer, because again, it looks like it's a little bit of a different interpretation of the Star Wars universe, which is great.
Yeah, it is different than anything else. It's different than Ahsoka and some of those other ones. And
yeah, it's total unrelated. I mean, from what I've seen, the 3 or 4 episodes we've watched, it's kind of its own thing so far.
That's pretty good, and Jude Law's in it, so with no crazy accents or anything. So
he does hang dong though.
He does hang dong,
which is what makes it a kids program.
No, that's the half elephant boy. He's got a trunk. So if you're gonna take Acolyte, I'm gonna take Andor before P can take it, but he's not going to, so I shouldn't worry.
It's on my list. I liked it.
I really liked it too. I like the fact that you get to see the rebellion from some of the early parts of it. And, we probably all imagined that when we were playing with Star Wars figures and things over time. So, I don't know. It kind of brought some of that to fruition. And it looks like a GD, 8-hour movie. Like, it's so well. All the shots are amazing. The story is pretty amazing. So, it's one of my favorite Star Wars things in general.
And sadly, I liked it. I didn't realize how good it was until after I got a few episodes in. I'm like, oh shit! They actually put a lot of effort into this, and the writing and the acting is so much better. It's not just I'm okay with The Mandalorian, but let's be honest, the writing's not always the best. The acting ain't always great. And then you get into Acolyte, or not the Acolyte, but you get into Andor, and it's okay, wait a minute, this is actually really well done.
Yeah,
And they put
it's
a
like, is
lot of
Pedro Pascal actually in the suit acting?
Yeah.
Or is he just voiceovering? Like, what a job.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it threw me for a loop. It's probably one I'll need to rewatch or at some point and just.
Yeah, I think the new season's
Really
coming
appreciate
out pretty soon, so I'll probably rewatch it pretty soon here.
Yeah.
What I like about Andor too, how it's like he's the reluctant. You know, it's similar story to. But it's usually the story you don't hear about people that start, you know, movements or things like that. Is that they necessarily didn't start out wanting to do what they did, and that it follows his journey through. You know, he doesn't want to be the guy that created the rebellion. He just happens to be in the right place at the right time.
Good pick, me. Good pick.
Round 4.
What's your next one then?
I don't know. I gotta see my list real quick. Speaking of The Mandalorian, I'm taking The Last of Us. Good old zombie show.
Yeah, I figured you probably would.
Sons of bitches. I can see the disgust on your face.
No, it was borderline for me. I liked it. I mean, it was yeah. It's probably another one I want to rewatch because I'm sure I missed stuff the first go around.
And that one I think is premiering this year too, the season 2. So
Yeah.
so this, it's a different take on the zombie stuff. It's a different way. I mean, they're still zombies, but like how they're infecting people and what's infecting them. Kind of more scientifically interesting than some fake virus, but like a real thing that happens in the insect world, at least. Very similar. Way,
Yeah,
like,
same thing with like cordyceps and like different things like in real
Yeah.
life.
like ants and different things. Oh, so gross.
Hard pass.
But it's one of the few like video game television shows I've ever been impressed with, like cinematography and well acted. They got kids that are good actors. I mean, the one girl's from Game of Thrones, where